Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be quite a long video. It's about a 2-hour chat with my friend Riccardo, who obviously you can tell by probably the name, is from Italy. Excuse me. I done a video on a gift he sent me a while back, about say almost a year ago now. Well, maybe just under. Actually, yeah, about just under a year. Of a book he sent me called Tommy's War. Very good book, and that was a really nice gift. So, yeah, this is the first sort of proper chat we've been able to have over Skype. Yeah, it went into a lot of detail about how we got into reenacting, etc., and collecting, etc. And there's several bits where I ramble on for a bit, etc. So that's why the video is so long. But yeah, so I really hope you enjoy, and we'll get on with the video.
Oh, there we go. Right. So, how you doing, mate?
Fine, doing fine. Got a little bit of trouble with university, but the COVID stuff, but I'm doing fine.
Oh, good, mate. Oh, good. Cool. So, for anyone watching this as it goes out when I actually post it, so I'm speaking to Riccardo, a friend of mine from Italy, and do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Riccardo. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a part of a group of reenacting in Italy. We are the Argyle and Sutherland Romagna group. We do World War II stuff. I don't know. Public display, classic reenacting stuff. I don't know how to put it. We are a very young group, and
Yeah.
hopefully we are still growing.
Oh, cool. Well, wicked. So, that's really cool. So I think from now we'll just do like a general chat. Obviously, this is the first video call we've done, so yeah, I think we just get along. Yeah. yeah. So, so how did you get into reenacting yourself? I think I might have asked you before, but yeah.
First of all, I really enjoy watching films and books, and I was really stoked about soldiers, and particularly British soldiers. And
Yeah.
I just started to collect stuff like blues and part of kits, and then I started reenacting it 4 years ago with World War I stuff.
Yeah.
And then this year I started reenacting World War II stuff. World War II.
Yeah, because it's the past sort of year and a bit, isn't it? You started doing World War II stuff, so yeah. So
not great year for start reenacting, but
yeah.
we'll see that.
No, honestly, like from what you've done so far, as like from photos and that you sent me, and what's on your Facebook and that, it's looking really good. Because obviously been doing Argyle Southern Highlanders, and then you started doing KOSB, Airborne, so which is really cool. I think wasn't it about 6th or 7th battalion? I think it was 7th battalion, wasn't it?
7th battalion.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, and
I've started doing the para stuff more, which I've sort of shown you. So I finished off some of the sewing I did recently. I'll quickly grab it. Oh dear. So, mind the Christmas trousers. So that's some of this I've done originally. So the rank insignia and the qualification badge is not that original to the BD, because this is a 45 dated one made in Belfast. So it's a case of just on.
It's a cloth insignia or a printed one?
This one, it's cloth.
Okay.
Yeah. I just go a bit nicer.
In photo I saw cloth and printed one. I don't know, the majority of the troops have cloth or
Yeah, I think I think it depends on unit to unit or battalion to battalion, or even from like from first airborne, sixth airborne. Yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I think you just get it's whatever you get given really.
Yeah.
Because if you look through like originals and that, depending on what you see on say the denizens or the bit on the or on the battle dress, it could be embroidered, it could be printed, any which are woven even some of them. So yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag really.
What's more
I
in the
just
smoke?
sorry.
In the smoke, they put the rank on the smoke or no?
So they normally put rank insignia will go on the smock as well. Sometimes you'll see it depends when in the war or whatever you'll see the power wings put onto the smock. It just depends. It's a bit of a mixed thing really. I think the best thing is to look at original photographs if you can and see not it's more of the exception rather than the norm. I say we go stuff going on the smock. On the BD, obviously there will always be insignia, but yeah, the smock is always a bit of a hit and miss really. Because especially you'll see with like commando units who use denizens quite a lot, especially during the later part of the war. There's no insignia on there normally.
I even see photos with troops with denizens in Italy, in Italian front. Normal infantry troops with denizens smoke in Italy. I don't know why, but even some photos with their guides in Sutherland in Italy with smokes. Maybe some, I don't know, some depot. Give it to them, and
That's why there's some really good photos. There's a photo of a British officer with his peak cap on, Dennis's smock on. I think he's carrying an MP40, just with his guys walking through a village in Italy. I think I'll have to find that photo. It's a really good photo. There might be like a commando unit, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's a really good photo.
a very melting pot of kit.
Yeah. so how long have you been collecting stuff in general before like you got into reenacting? You just been picking up bits here and there?
8 years of collecting, mostly World War One stuff. I've started to collect World War II stuff. Very little bit of kit. I have a little bit of kit and a little bit of paperwork, like I don't know, manifestos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm really into kit.
Same.
And I want to
Worryingly so, yeah.
part of the kit. It's a really hard work to track something on the kit, like I don't know. I don't even know, like original Hodo are very difficult to find, and reproduction are very look like original ones.
Yeah.
The difference between reproduction and original. It's very difficult to get scammed in this stuff. So
yeah, definitely. I think there's sort of a weighing thing of like between reproduction and original, or what like about obviously the way you want to spend your money as well. You want to get something which looks the part if it's reproduction, and obviously is worth getting, is worth your time, is worth your money, looks the part, and is as accurate as it can be. But at the same time, do you get original, which you might be paying a bit more for? But then again, you've got the original item. So yeah, it's a bit of a, and especially with different because you've got like places like Soldier of Fortune or Epic Militaria or Pegasus Militaria as well, or places like that. Obviously, they've got a wide range of stuff. Some of it's really good. Some of it's really shite. So yeah, it's a bit of a hit and miss because I know, right? Because yeah, especially their BDs can be really good.
yeah.
Okay, but and then they can be really good. So it's a bit of a hit and miss, really. But yeah.
And it even depends for the purposes that you are buying the stuff, because if you want to reenact, obviously you can't reenact with originals because you risk to destroy them.
Exactly.
If you want to collect them, you have to pay a really good look to the stuff, because it's very wide scams over there.
Yeah, and especially this past year, and even obviously still now with the whole COVID stuff, it's been stuck into literally you're not able to go out and look for really big deals at like shows or anything. It's been like, I think I've the only the only event I've actually been to in the past year and a half or so was probably the Soviet threat event, which was at Hat Green in September last year, which is like a Cold War event. And that was only one, and I was able to pick up a few things there, but that was it. So not being able to get out and get a few things, because there's plenty of things in the past year I picked up online, which I
Yeah, the
know,
online market is growing very fast.
yeah, which I know I would have picked up
Definitely.
for like a third or even a fifth of the price if I've been to a show, and it's frustrating because I want to get out there, and you can find some good stuff, and you don't have someone charging you the price of your liver
Yeah.
online. So, like, I started thinking, should I sell some of my organs I don't need just to buy this? So, yeah, but it's crazy because some things are so expensive. Because like like I'll go onto eBay is a great example of this. Anything like it could be like the lightweight respirator bag. Issued to bloody every bloke in existence who was serving post 1943. Um, and it's suddenly some rare SAS para thing. I've seen that so many times. Like you can like if you go to a show, you can pick them up with the respirator in for like 15 quid, but you got someone who puts not even with the contents in it. Who's saying, "Oh, it's a special SAS para bag.
Yeah.
What 50, 70 quid
Obviously.
for it?" I'm just like, it's
That's
a
fucking
piss.
insane.
It
Sorry
takes
for
piss. It takes piss, and it's so stupid because you know some poor git is gonna buy it and pay that money for it. And it's like I saw I think about a year or two ago a gentleman on eBay selling a Belgian like 1950s smock, sort of like slightly darker brown brushstroke style, which is more like thicker gabardine material. They're really, really good. I had one a couple of years ago. Got mine for about 25 quid from a guy who used to own a shop called Sabre Sales in Portsmouth. Really, really famous guy. His name's Nick. I think he's still around. But yeah, he had his shop was insane. It was like this large main room you go in first, which was loads of stuff on the walls. Then a large
like a
warehouse.
plant shop.
Sorry.
It's like a plant shop.
Yeah, it was kind of it was like a combat shop. It was like lots of like kit, like 38, 58 webbing, like insane amounts of it, and like even a police. So he had his main shop, and an outside bit with vehicle part stuff and that, and a couple of riot shields, and then a bit he had a cellar full with 37 pattern webbing, like full. I think there's some pictures he posted recently. I'll send them to you. It's insane. And I really wish at the time I was working when the last time I went there. I think I wasn't working when the last time I went there because it closed a few years ago. You had to sell the business off and everything got sold off. But yeah, so you had a big warehouse sort of building above that, which was like great coats and God knows what else in, and then in another sort of 3-story building attached to the side, which had uniforms, police gear, boots, you name it. It was insane. It was it was crazy. Like if you wanted to find it, you probably would, but there was so much crap there. It's crazy. But I've completely gone off track. Yeah, the Belgian smock. So yeah, I got this for about 25 quid, and there was a guy on eBay about a year or so ago who obviously the whole thing, it's an SAS World War II. Well, he said it was a World War II parasmog, and I met, and he was asking, I think 300 or 350 quid for it. They're worth about 25 to 40 quid.
That's insane.
That's about worth. And yeah, and I messaged him saying, mate, that's not done as much. And then he messaged back with some off comment. I was like, all right then. So I literally just screenshot the whole thing, posted it on one of the blogs. I was like, please rip this man to shit because it's. I was like, this is insane. Because I think I think really someone had posted about it, so I went on and they commented and then posted my comments. So I was just like, some people, and I think someone ended up buying it as well for like 300 odd quid, and it's barely worth over 60. And the trousers are a bit more. The trousers that are part of that whole setup which are kind of the sort of smocking trousers, a bit like the World War II British, like windproofs. They're kind of a bit like that, but a lot thicker in the way of like the trousers and smock set. But they're together, they're probably about 120 quid as a set, and the trousers alone maybe about 50 quid, but not that much just for the jacket. It's just crazy because that stuff, it raises up the prices of everything else and then floods the market with stuff you don't need and stuff that isn't correct and isn't worth it. Because I've been stung a lot of times when I bought something. I thought, oh, this is a great deal, got it, and it's a piece of shit.
A lot.
And yeah, it is crazy.
Definitely, I saw Belgian Brody, so for like
Yeah.
You can't, man. You can't do something like that because people are gonna notice that.
Mm-hmm.
You end up having a bad reputation for it. So what's the purpose of what's the purpose for
Exactly. Yeah, because it's like the post-war Belgian Brodies and that. I've seen them like on like Facebook Marketplace or eBay with all the marking scrubbed out, and then just it's World War II. It's like it's not, it's not. And they're asking like 50, 60 quid for it, and I'm just like it's crazy. I think it was another. I'm trying to think what it was. Oh, I think the worst one was sets of 58 pattern webbing are worth about, for a nice clean set, all the bits there. So large pack, magazine pouches, water bottle pouch is the later one, kiddie pouch is the later one. So all like the Mark III third issue stuff. A nice set, maybe maximum price I'll ever pay for it is about 40 quid, and that's stretching it a bit. For a nice clean set, that's like basically brand new. Gentleman on Facebook was trying to sell one for 250 quid.
Oh, you're kidding me.
And I'm just like I thought to myself, if that's the case, I can go on holiday for that because I've got about half a dozen sets like that.
That's insane.
I've also got like first and second pattern stuff, and I was like, if he's asking that for it, what can I get for mine? Honestly, because he put it on several pages, on several sales and things pages, and lo and behold, he got ripped into because like it's ludicrous. You can't sell something for that. Try and ask people to pay that for something which is common as dog shit. It is it's crazy because 58 pattern stuff is not rare. You might find the rare bit of stuff which wasn't like main issue, but trying to sell a full set of standard issue, oh yes, it's nice and clean and maybe barely been used, but you're never going to get someone paying more than 40, 50 quid for a set. If it's a first pattern set, then you're able, like full pattern set, original, if it's not unused, then you might be able to ask a bit more for it, so like maybe upwards towards 80 quid, but never more than that, because that's just ludicrous stuff.
100 quid, yeah. So that kind of range of price.
Yeah. It's like, because the first pattern stuff, obviously been introduced in 58, and then you have the second issue stuff, which started coming in the early 60s. And then the third issue was on issue round about, say, 65-ish area. So between the first pattern being issued and the third issue coming in, there was a short gap. There was a fairly small gap. So first issue stuff. You see a lot of first issue stuff in and second issue stuff in like Northern Ireland and Aden and that as well. So it's great kit, honestly. But some people don't like the 58. I really like it. It can be a bit irritating in some bits, but it's a great kit. But it should never be priced up like that. But yeah. So I know in the last year or so we've talked a lot about, and obviously sadly now Monty's Men has been postponed until next year, which is a shame because I was really looking forward to it. But then again, it was especially with especially in the UK, has dragged out so long. It was a bit suspect. So
I think Monty's Men is the biggest reenacting event in the UK, if I'm correct. And yeah, this COVID stuff is drugging us out, and it's a shame really, because we can't do our hobby because obviously we have to be in contact with people, uh, the and what are I don't know what a solution of that? What can we do about the, do reenactment in COVID time?
Yeah. It's a tricky one. I think they when I did Soviet Threat, the event last year in September, it was done quite because some of the events outside, some of the events inside. Obviously, keeping the guidelines. Obviously, this was post the first lockdown, pre the second one which we had in the UK, and they sort of were able to work around it quite well with the way of distancing. Every time you went inside the main building, which was actually a bunker, like an old Cold War bunker, which used to be an RAF station during the war. Obviously, masks on, etc., which obviously was a bit irritating. Obviously, with keeping it historically accurate, but then again, it's what you can do. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad in the way it was able to work on. But then again, since then, more stricter measures have come in, so it's a bit of a nightmare. I don't really know how. If it's like a completely outdoor event, maybe they might be able to get away with it. But then again, you've still got gatherings of people, so I don't really know. There was, it's tricky. I know some other events that have been exclusively outside have gone ahead, like like when they had firework events. So
here in Italy, I saw very lately like photo shoot contest, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not really real events going down the place because it's a tricky matter because you want to do your hobby, but you don't want to get sick.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy, especially with like the new strains that have come out. I wasn't so bothered if I was thinking to myself, if I got it, okay. I wasn't overly bothered originally, but then there's the new strains coming out. The one that originated in the UK, then you have the one coming from South America and all this sort of stuff. So I'm just like, okay, how is this going to go? So yeah, it's a bit tricky. But in light of it, though, yes, like Monty's Men, for example, has been postponed to next year, but obviously that gives me a lot more time to get stuff ready. So, because I've gotten quite far in the past year, but I'm still at the point where like I need to spend a lot more money to get this thing. So, but then again, I think
for the Monty's kit, you did quite right. See the point.
Yeah. I think because some people have pulled out. I think because of like health wise and that, I think, and some people have. I think some people who are really on this have sadly passed away. I think as far as which is a shame. But I don't know if they're going to do an extend the first. Will open up for another intake maybe because now it's extended by a year again, so they might open up for more people maybe to join. So I'm not too sure. So if that is the case, that might give space maybe if you want to do it, because I know you wanted to. So
very
so if they do, which would be great because that means then they can then get some more people on board, which would be great. Obviously, the more funds for the pot allow the trip to be able to do more within it. So it's looking really good at the moment. At the moment, as it stands, as far as I'm aware, they still have around. For the Standard Infantry Company itself, they have around 200, and then you add on all the other arms. So we have a group, we have a section with the Middlesex, who would be our HMG platoon. Then we've got a group from the Royal Army Service Corps, then the Royal Army Medical Corps. I think we have some.
Not Armoured Corps.
I think we have some. I think they're doing another sort of like cavalry regiment, but they will have. I think we've got we might have a Cromwell, I think, and some armored cars, which is really cool. I think they're even talking maybe a Churchill, but I'm not too sure. But there's multiple other sort of things attached to us as like a normal infantry company would, as part of a battalion, and obviously battalion arms, etc. And obviously you got the Army Film and Photography Unit guys who do like that.
That's fantastic. I saw the YouTube channel and the stuff they're putting on. That's mind blowing.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I think as I said to you, I helped out with them a few years ago when I did stuff from the German side. So there was only a few of us, but we were acting sort of like a sort of an annoyance in a way if that makes sense to the guys who were doing British, and it was awesome because obviously we were sort of like plastic camping just on the side, and we'll basically to keep them on their toes kind of thing, to give them a bit of experience. So which was really really good. And there were some bits when we're trying to do like a sort of advanced contact kind of thing for them to come meet us, and we would do like a kind of hit and run kind of thing. And we pulled out from our position, which was by a hedgerow, and we'd put like demo stuff in like this field. So as they were coming across the field, it would look like they were under artillery bombardment, etc. And they come across the field in like line formation with bayonets fixed, like in like, sort of like Operation Good.
What is that?
As they came to the hedgerow, they're parallel with us on the other side of the hedgerow, like keeping under cover, but with bayonets fixed going across. And you sort of think to yourself, that looks like something out of original footage or a photograph, and it's insane because they're fully laden like they would have been, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I wish I could find some of the footage, but obviously some of it is obviously on their YouTube channel. The Army Film and Photography Unit have their new YouTube channel, so all the footage they get from the events is there, and it's insane. Like what they're able to pull off because obviously they're using original film. Original cameras.
I've got
It's
two questions from the Montes event. The first one, what the angle load for before weapons and like non-firing weapons and blanks weapons, and
Yes. Okay.
what's the operation about during the event? So what do you do during the event?
So with the weapons thing, so they've got an armourer. So for those who have, so from the UK we have different sort of levels of weapons license, etc. Obviously, for an armourer, they can issue out as long as you're over a certain age and you signed everything, etc. Obviously, some people have their own firearms. Some of my friends have their own license.
You need a sort of permit for the firearm, or you have to buy off.
So you have if you have your own, you have to register it saying you bring your own firearm. And then it will be registered, and then you will have your place, and you will have your firearm. Obviously, it's your own, and it's sort of registered to you for the event, so they know you've got it. That's fine. If it's from the armourer, then you've been assigned it. You have responsibility over that, and you have to etc. And obviously, you pay a fee to them.
Obviously, yeah.
Thing. They are doing a thing as well. Say if you have a friend who has a Section 5 firearms license, obviously to own a live firearm, and they have several or whatever, and you're borrowing one from them, they're doing it as it will go through the armourer to then be issued to you. So then you've got that sort of it's not just given to you by a friend or whatever. It's so they know where all the firearms are, etc. That's as far as I can send you some of the form listings of how they're doing it. It's a little bit complicated, but it's roughly fairly broad, so it's quite good.
And it's all 3 or 3 blanks rounds?
Yeah. So all three.
Usually I can't find any.
Yeah. It is crazy at the moment. Like I managed to get a bunch a couple of years ago that were just. Yeah, I won't go into that. That's going to stuff with that.
Off topic. Let's go.
Flashing light outside, you'll see in a minute. I've managed to get a few. So, and then the armourer will be issuing. You'll be issued them whatever amount, and then obviously how much money gets put in, you'll be able to think more, etc. So yeah, that's through the armourer. Obviously, there's been a bit of thing. Obviously, now it has to be extended. Obviously, till next year. They're just trying to sort everything out, so that's all in place, so it's all ready to go when it needs to. What was your other question? Sorry.
What do you eat during the event?
Eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, I think it's basically going to be like the 24-hour ration stuff, or depending on if we're in, say, our positions. Normally, they might bring out the I think they're called the number 2 burners, basically like this sort of field kitchen kind of stuff, and you'll be given hot food. But I think, you'll be living on sort of like compo kind of rations kind of thing.
Also, Master, given the 20-hour ration packs to the soldier?
Yeah, so they issued like I know on D-Day they issued like 48-hour ration packs. Well, two of the 24 hours. I know that it's sort of they slightly changed as they went through the campaign, and there was some they were a bit different later on, and there were different ones earlier on in the war, and then especially like later on, especially like in Italy and Africa, like guys are getting issued like American rations in some cases, like American compo. So it's a bit of a mixed match, and depends where you are. But generally, like the 24-hour, well, the 48-hour rations, and then as you went on, depending on if you were in static positions, you were near, say, your support units, you normally have hot food from, say, like your main mess station. So it depends, but they're going to go into it more, I think, closer to the event. But from what I can gather, they generally, I think, from when I helped out with it doing the German stuff, when we after sort of the event sort of finished, we went and had a walk around there where their foxhole, where their slit trench and that were, and there was just there was shit everywhere of like biscuits and God from their rations just left in foxholes, and it was like Jesus Christ
everywhere.
it looked like they just got out there quickly. There was just like there was like bits of like the biscuits everywhere. It's like Jesus Christ, and there was some still in packets. I was like, oh, I'll have those. So, but no, that was really. But it would definitely look like squaddies have been there. It's like this is a shithole. And yeah, that was really funny. So yeah, I think food-wise, it sort of depends if you're on, say, manoeuvres or whatever, or depending if you're at your station. So, but yeah.
What's the funniest thing you saw at the event? Like someone tripping around and falling to the ground?
Well, there was some funny bits. Like we did a like a night ambush kind of thing.
Oh no! Oh no!
So, the thing is, it was quite large because this was in the New Forest, so it's a large woodland area in the UK. And the guy who owns the land wasn't told about what we were doing that evening.
Oh my!
Bear in mind it's pitch black, and we're going to do an ambush with an MG42. So, obviously, everyone involved sort of knew what was going. Apart from obviously
this farmer with, I don't know, a double-barrel shotgun.
Oh god, yeah. I think obviously he knew we were on the land and all this blank firing that, but I think he wasn't told about we're going to let off a belt-fed machine gun at like 1:00 in the morning, in the middle of woodland. So yeah, so obviously like the officers and like the British side knew that was going to happen because they were going to lead it into the ambush, and obviously, but obviously the main guys in their platoons and that had no idea. Obviously, this was all set up for them. So they're coming into the ambush, and then we just let off with the MG, and a bunch of rifles start firing as well. And then we bug out. Next thing we know, the message comes from the landowner who wasn't very happy about being woken up at 1:00 in the morning and his dog going berserk. I was like, okay, fair enough. But there was some fun stuff with flares on that thing, which was kind of cool. And what was it? Yeah. we did for the last sort of like hurrah kind of thing on the last day. We all got kitted up and went out for like a small like probing patrol kind of thing. So the MG with us, I had an MP40, had a couple of mags full, which was really really cool, which I've never used before, and I thought it was brilliant. So like a fully licensed like Section 5 MP40 full of mag. I was like, this is going to be fun. So we went out and we did a couple of front patrols, and when we got back, I thought, shit, I've dropped some of the magazines. These little MP40 magazines, these are like good few quid, so they're not cheap. And I thought I lost them. So it turns out that as I put them down, a couple of the other guys had picked them up and just tried to scare the shit out of me by thinking that I lost them. So I was like, this is not mine. I thought, no, crap, I lost them. And they're like, it's over here. So yeah, so that was fun, and almost made shit myself fear. But I thought, crap, I've lost the arm of magazines now, so that's great. But no, that was really fun. That was an experience and some great stuff. We got a good couple of photos from the event and from the guys, so that was really good. But yeah, so it's yeah.
Go ahead.
No, sorry. So I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get around to doing it next year. Hopefully all this stuff goes now. Obviously, now they've got the vaccine, but then again, you've got the different strains, so hopefully it all sorts itself out.
By the way, I'm recently got upgraded to Brett and Gunner.
Oh, cool.
Stuff is the bloody gun is heavy.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it. I don't know,
it's a great bit of kit. I know. About three. I think it was 2016. I think it was 2016, 2017. Might have been 2017. I think, as far as I remember, it might be in 2016. I was at Chalk Valley History Festival, which is an event in Dorset Way. It's like Rumble, like the Daily Mail and that. It's quite a good little. It's a multi-history event, but it's mainly focused on, say, like Vikings and Romans and all that sort of stuff. But we had a little bit, and we had like a battle at the end. Where we had two battles, one on the Sunday, one on Saturday, one on the Sunday, and the armourers there were very, very generous with ammunition and gun as well. So I was on the first day, on the Saturday, I was the number 2 on a Bren gun, so I had my rifle and that, etc. And then on the Sunday we swapped, so I was then the number 1 on the Bren gun. It was a Mark 1 Bren gun, fully licensed, so blanks galore with it. And I got a bit carried away and went through about 4 magazines in about 30 seconds.
Bloody hell, man!
I got a bit carried away. Yeah, I ended up having guys show me like 5 round 303 clips just to fill up the magazines again. So it was nervous. I ended up going down to single shot on the Bren just so I could save ammunition. because it was great. It was great because honestly, I think it's sort of the first and only sort of battle thing I've sort of taken part in with, say, at an event, in the way of like in front of like a crowd, but it was really well done. So there was like a large field, which is like the normal thing, but there was wood line on one side of the field, and then there was a road in the middle, and there was high hedges, sort of 3 foot high hedges on each side, and we were going down that parallel to the wood line, and then they opened up on us, and then the tanks we were with, we had an Achilles tank destroyer, a Cromwell, and a Staghound, and they put onto the field, and then we advanced across it. It was actually well done, and it wasn't just like a normal sort of kind of battle you see where like guys are like 30 foot apart shooting at each other, yet no one's dying. So it wasn't like that, which was great for a change. Yeah, and we're behind the Achilles tank destroyer, and we're sort of peeking out, giving a few bursts and that, etc. And then we're told to sort of break out and then fan out from thing. I run across towards the crowd side, firing the Bren gun from the hip.
For the hip with a Bren gun? Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was a lot of swearing, forgetting there was a crowd there and children. So, that was funny. That was
yeah, man.
So, and it was great. And then I sort of went down to the ground and then gave a suppressing fire. And that was great. And I would love to have done that again. So,
for my new role, I saw a lot of training films.
Yeah.
Digital training films. But I don't know how they pulled like the run and gun stuff with a Bren gun. I can't. I can't. Really.
It's crazy. Like blokes were different back then. It's crazy. Like I think it's because like a lot of those guys, like especially let's say during the First World War, obviously the Second World War, but especially during the First World War, a lot of guys, they might be short, but they're stocking, they're built, and or even if they look slim, they generally came from like a manual job. Yeah. So they worked in like steelworks or mines or wherever, and even during the Second World War, it's sort of the same thing. Obviously, a lot of guys, especially in especially when conscription that came in and things like that, a lot of guys are from, say, like more like middle class kind of professions and that, obviously, but still they're still normally healthy and they've got a lot of strength in them. It's crazy. Like, and I've done like little patrols and that at like events where I've been like the Bren gunner for like the section, and it's one heavy bastard when it comes. Especially when you've got like loaded magazines and you're carrying extra magazines, etc., and you're carrying all the equipment for it, and you're in battle dress, and you're in hobnails, and you're in like, yeah, like it. Especially in the UK, it's either ridiculously hot for where we are, or it's pissing down with rain. So you're either wet and angry or hot and angry. So miserable both times.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. But no, it's you definitely feel for like the guys like how the hell are these guys able to carry it, say, like off a landing craft in Normandy into the water, getting soaked through, then going on through Normandy, then Belgium, then into Germany and Holland. It's just like it's insane.
Insane. Yeah. It's
But then again, like when you're eating whatever, like you're given what you're given, like in those rations and that, like so many thousands of calories, like you've gone through all that training. And that's the thing. It's like they've gone through however many weeks of training to get to that point. So yeah, it's a different kind of person then. Yeah, nothing like cushy life now.
It's that bad.
Mm.
Like with rain and stuff.
It's a hit and miss. Now at the moment, it's been either really cold or a bit wet and drizzly and that. It's alright at the moment. It's just been the cold. It's been the problem really, because it's been so cold lately. So it's been like, obviously it can get much colder, especially if you go up north around like obviously North Scotland, etc. It's been getting towards like -10 Celsius. So, which is cold for there. And then like even like you go to Canada or whatever, like northern parts of Canada, you can get up to like -40, which is insane. Like you go outside for for too long, like you won't come back. So so that should like -1 or 2 where it isn't that bad, but it is still cold. Like you're out there for 5 or so minutes just trying to do stuff for whatever work, and it's like I'm way too cold. I need to go inside. Yeah, it's crazy. But obviously the summer we had beforehand was great. That was like ridiculously hot for a long period of time. So, but I think UK does get a bad reputation for being all rainy and miserable all the time. I would say that's 60% of the time, not all the time. So it's not too bad. But yeah, Italian weather is definitely probably nicer.
I live in the north part of Italy.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
So got a really loads of fog.
All right.
So,
It sort of drifts down from the Alps, though, doesn't it? Yeah. And it meets the hot air of the Med. Yeah.
And you get really wet and damp and miserable real fast.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It sounds like it. like today is a bit miserable. Yesterday wasn't too bad. But, yeah, it's a bit of a hit and miss, really. Anything recently you've picked up at all?
I picked up a new helmet, a new bowling helmet for an impression for the Argyle impressions.
Oh, wicked!
I'm studying the bits of scrim in the helmet because in the photo I saw there are only green scrim on the helmet and not like the brown and the red ones like in the Normandy campaign. But sometimes I don't know, I saw helmet with green screen and real leaf on them.
Yeah.
I don't know how to go on with the helmet, so I have to do a little more research in that regard.
Oh, that's fair enough. Like, yeah, because especially in Normandy campaign, it differs because you see guys who landed who've just got bare helmets or just a net on, to fully, especially sort of like the later June part of the campaign. You see it more and more scrim come into use.
And I don't know because I saw a photo with a guy with a roll of scrim, and he was cutting it. But I don't know what's the regulation for the camouflage.
I think it just depends on units. I think it depends on unit to unit really, and it's I think some of it is at discretion of the CO and depending on where you are. Generally for field craft and for ready for battle training, etc. Generally you'll scrim up as much as you can for concealment.
I haven't seen scrim like paint on the helmet. without screaming, without net.
Yeah. So yeah, obviously, obviously the helmet, and then obviously the helmet cover. Sometimes you'll see, like, I'll show mine actually. Give me a second. Alright. So with mine, basically I've done Hessian cover as the first base.
Yeah.
Similar to that as sort of the post-war sort of 80s kind of thing, but this was done a lot as well. So Hessian underneath, netting over the top, and then line that with more scrim just to break up the outline even more, with sort of the lighter colour scrim, darker parts from, I think it was a scarf, I think, and then green scrim as well. Obviously, can be broken up with brown. It gives it the sort of light, and obviously when it gets wet as well and dirty, it will cover it even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, at the end of the day, it's to break up the outline, and then any foliage from the area I'm in, time can then be put into that as well. So, so yeah, which is kind of good.
In like my city was liberated in 45 and during Operation Grape Shot, and in the photo I saw of the liberation of my city, they got a lot of stuff on the bloody thing, and I don't know why, but
yeah,
I've been trying to figure out.
Yeah, I think because obviously you're in northern North Italy.
Yeah.
Is it a bit more green up there in the way of compared to, like, say, central or southern?
Yeah, it's more like German forest type of
yeah. Yeah, that might be the case. Sort of as they're going up towards the top of the peninsula, they get obviously more greenery in that. So that might be sort of case, because obviously when you see like guys landing at Salerno or troops around Anzio, etc., it's obviously more just like Hessian covers kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, that's fair enough. And that's like, was it like a original one or a repro helmet you picked up, or?
I picked up a reprogram it, and because I don't want to use our original for reenacting, so because
I think it was most repro helmets are like original shells, but just got new liners.
Yeah.
And like restored.
Mine is like 45 dated, but painted like a repro, and
that's fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, I think I picked up the liner I had in this Mark II. I can't remember. I think I ended up sending it to someone else. It was alright, but it was like the oilcloth liner was like a weird. It seemed a bit plasticky, to be honest with you. But I'm actually picking a new one from SOF, which is much more like the original oilcloth. It's a lot more comfortable. So, and especially because obviously with the Monty's Men, I'll be having this on my head literally most of the time, so I don't want that. Yeah, it's a little bit better. But the liner I've got in my Mark III, which has got a good find actually, is really good. And that wasn't too bad. I picked that up from SOF for about 40 quid.
Yeah, very cheap. So I have like good prices for helmets. And
I think generally, especially with like, some of their like original that's been their original stuff which has been restored, and then they sell it as like just their general stuff. It's actually quite good. Like a really good deal was their early like Mark II helmets, with the early style liner, like say for like the BEF in 1940 and that. They had the normal ones which were about 50 odd quid, and then they had the ones which had slight damage or whatever, which mainly was just a little bit of paint to come off. They were selling for like 30 quid. So I was like, okay. And literally a little bit of the paint on the rim had come off, that was it. And it was barely noticeable. And that was 20 quid cheaper. So I was like, I'll have that. So it's the deals you can get on it are great. Where did you get your smock, your power smock from again? Was it?
Yeah. SOF. Yeah.
SOF. Okay. How was it like quality wise? Is it all right?
Yeah, great, and the material was great. The colors are really, really good. Overall the quality is good, and great vendor. I really
Did you get the
Oh,
first or second pattern one with the knit cuffs or?
second pattern.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh,
Yeah.
wicked. Yeah, I've been wanting to get a Denison for years. I've had a thought about it. I found a company in the Netherlands which are doing quite a nice one, which is slightly more lighter version of the Denison, which you see sometimes, which I'm really liking, which is about 125 quid or whatever. So it looks quite nice. But I'm also talking to Frank Brown on Facebook, who makes custom ones.
Oh,
Who's probably I know there's a few other people who make really, really good ones, but he makes custom ones that is regardless one of the best like reproductions of them out there at the moment. So you see a lot of guys using like Frank's Frank Brown. Yeah, he's his reproductions are very, very good. A lot of people who want to spend a lot of money on getting a decent one would probably go with Frank. I started trying to get you some pictures. I think he asked for I think it was about 270. Generally, it's a long waiting list. About 12 months at the moment because the amount of orders he's thinged up, and obviously with COVID and that, so he's had a lot more business lately. But that's like me. So if you're making it from scratch.
Yeah, if you want to get out of quality, quality small, you have to pay a bit, and you get 12 bit. Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, especially when you consider like an original can range from 500 quid to 2,000. It's like it's insane. It's like with helmets now as well. It's like you're beginning to see it obviously. Even like the old conversions of like the tankers helmets.
Yeah.
And like even those the ones that were converted are getting up in price now because I've got a tankers one which was converted to a cut. Well, it was given the canvas power strap harness, slightly different to the original because it's got like a press stud instead of the buckle at the back. Like even they're like I got that for like 40 quid I think. Even they're getting a lot of money now. But I have got a where's my Parrot? What's here? My Parrot one. I think it is a repro, but it's a very, very good one. I got that for 125, I think.
That's a fair price for a repro.
Yeah, I think it's repro, but
I got mine from Soft, obviously.
yeah, I think this one might have been Pegasus Militaria. I'm not too sure, but it might have been another company. But yeah, this one is honestly it's really, really good. The early style strap, it's dark and it's got the pad at the top. But yeah, the quality is amazing, and it's the fiber rim style as well. So it's got the fiber rim around the bottom. So it's the early Mark 1 styles. There was obviously the one before this which has a kind of bill bit at the back. It's kind of sort of a weird. So you're seeing like the Bruneville raid, them guys wearing, which was the very sort of first style after the sort of pilot crash helmet kind of style they used to have. But, yeah, no, this one was great. This one came with all the scrim on already when I bought it from a show a couple of years ago. That's got like the lighter thing. But yeah, honestly, from the thing,
you've got a good package.
It looks original, especially from the outside. It looks original, and it's a great piece. And honestly,
very original. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of my favourite ones in the collection in general. So yeah, I think about 125. I think they normally sell for a little bit more. I think. So I saved a bit of money, but yeah, I think it is but it's got stamps in it, but I think it might be
Maybe a sport one.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, really, really happy with that though. I got that about a year and a bit ago from it was a military fair up north. I was helping a friend out with his stall, and I went on a bit of a shopping spree whilst I was there. Well, because I sold a bunch of stuff, and with that money, I bought more stuff. So I picked up that, and I picked up the Enfield number 7 bayonet. So it's the
May also pattern.
Yeah,
Four-pipe.
it's called the number 7. It's for the number 4 rifle.
Okay. The knife one.
Yes, it's a blade, Bowie, like the number 9 bayonet, but it's got the handle style of the went on the jungle carbine,
Yeah.
and it's got the twist fixture to the back of it, which is really, really peculiar, and it's like was deemed unsafe fairly quickly because obviously when you've got it fixed to the number 4, there's about that much distance on obviously because the handle between the muzzle and the ring of the bayonet itself, which would normally go with the number 5. So if it's slightly off or whatever, you get ricochet off that, and it's just like it's sketchy. But you see it in like parade. You see it in like using like parades and etc. Because it's quite a nice bayonet in the way of like it looks and that. But
keep the guard as that.
Yeah. I know. And the
like a brief period of post war they got on parade and I took of it. So, yeah.
The cool thing actually I found, like that same bayonet, if you look at pictures of bandsmen and the core drums from the guards division, so like any bandsman in that from any of the guards regiments, like when they're performing in like full red dress tunic and everything, those bayonets are the sidearm of the bandsman, which I found was quite cool. Which is really, but if you try and find up, I've got a couple of pictures actually. Might be able to find them actually. It's quite an interesting little thing which I found. I was like, oh, okay. Let's see if I can find them. But yeah, it's interesting little thing, and it got pulled out of service very early. There's footage of it being used on a parade by the 1st Battalion Hampshires when they're in Malaya, which is quite cool. When they're doing like this was I think 1953, I think, and that's like one of the few times you see it being used. Like
talking about Malaya, correct me if I'm wrong. I saw a picture with the infantryman with the Vickers MG, but a portable one. Like I don't know the mark of the MG.
Oh, the Vickers K.
I think
So
it's the Vickers K.
The one with the drum mag on top.
Yeah.
So the Vickers K, which so it has a so obviously you have the one which is mounted to vehicles. You see it a lot mounted like in a twin configuration, like Jeeps and that, especially during the war. SAS used them a lot. The Jeep squadron that landed at Arnhem used them, twin Vickers mounts on front of the MG, on front of the Jeeps. You see them in games a lot as well. They're great pieces of kit with like they have it's like a strange style of like trigger system.
Yeah.
It's like a round oval system at the back, but there's also a portable version which was issued to like commandos as well a lot, and also actually I sent a picture of it to my friend actually. Find it. Here we go. Actually, I'll send you the picture actually.
What's it?
Might come through on your phone. So you see it, and it can be the back stock of it can be taken off.
Yeah.
The special mechanism can be put in, and where the pistol grip is, there's a linkage which goes to where the trigger system is from when it's originally on like a Jeep mounting. So that it can be portable. Yeah, like Vickers K, like
But it's strange bit of kit.
Yeah, it's fairly weighty. 100-round drum magazine, but it fires about 1,000 rounds a minute. So it's basically got the rate of fire of an MG42. They're cool bits of kit, and my friend who owns the who was part of the Vickers Machine Gun Association, who I've done a couple of videos with, and we're doing like stuff in regards to like rangefinders and that. If you look up Vickers Machine Gun Association YouTube channel, they've got a bunch of videos on there. Part of his collection, they've got Vickers K's and that. So yeah, they're really, really nice stuff, and they're cool bits of kit. getting much more rare to find these days as well. Especially trying to find a thing like that enough 303 to last you if you want to fire one. 1,000 rounds a minute, 100-round drum mags, like.
That's crazy amount of
Yeah,
fire.
they're great bits of kit. Yeah, no, yeah. Like you see them using Operation Market Garden. Commando units sometimes had them as like their light support weapon instead of like a Bren. So yeah, they're great bits of kit.
But I mean, for the British doctrine of support weapons, they never had a like a IMG type machine gun to like. They never quite get a great volume of fire machine gun. Obviously, they got a different doctrine of fighting, and that's
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it's kind of similar to the Americans, really, actually, because yes, obviously the Americans were using like the M1 Grand and that, as obviously their semi-infantry rifle, which obviously is semi-automatic, so a bit more volume of fire. But their squad support weapon was the BAR, which has a much lower rate of fire, smaller amount of capacity, etc., than the Bren. So it's a similar sort of function, and basically most squads, etc., mimicked kind of each other. Like ours was very much like the Germans in a way. Obviously, they have a much more faster rate of fire, more rounds, etc., carrying support weapon in that, and the MG34 or the 42. But in the way of like mobility and say support for the squad, especially for an attacking force, I would say the Bren is quite an effective use for that. It's very much a good weapon for assaulting troops. So it's great for defending as well. But then again, in defending, you'll have your Brens, but also if you're in, say, a company position, a company or so, whatever, or even a platoon with support weapons defending a position, you'll have your battalion MGs come up. Well, supporting elements for the battalion come up, like with the Vickers medium machine guns, or even more to that. Also, you have your mortars as well as a support. And obviously, depending on your section, you might have a Bren gun. But you'll also have your 2-inch mortars as well as support. So it all sort of counteracts with it. But obviously, then you get into the late 50s, you've got sections who use, say, the L4 Bren, so the 762 version, and then you have maybe another section using the GPMG. They serve sort of similar roles, but then they're there for two different purposes. So the L4 Bren is there as like a also heavy automatic weapon, but for them more of like an attacking thing, and then the GPMG will supply fire support, which eventually by the 70s then also replaces the Vickers, but kind of supports the same role. But then again, with the GPMG, it can then be carried into the attack as well, as even though being a battlefield machine gun as well. So it's got similar purposes, but the MG42 and the 34 are kind of sort of the birth of sort of the general purpose machine gun in a way, which then evolves into adopting of the FN mag or GPMG as someone's known it. So, yeah.
Another thing I love about the British Army is the effort they put on the marksmanship of the riflemen. Not quite
especially in the Great War. Yeah, so because I think people tend to go like, I know there's that myth of all the Germans thought they were machine guns, and all this, that's been thinged around for years. But then again, like most obviously they're not like all amazing shots that can fire thousands of rounds a minute and all this sort of stuff, not the kind of thing. But generally, blokes shot for their pay. If they were good shots, they got paid more. So it was financially beneficial to them being decent enough with their own rifle, especially in the BEF. Obviously, later in the war, in the First World War, see that level.
The maximum dead, the soldier that had one, they got paid more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's in their interest to be good shots because that's more money in their pocket, more money to use it wherever they want to use it at. Wherever they're in France, if it be a bar or a brothel. So, so yeah. And obviously later in the war, that level of proficiency goes down. Obviously, with a massive volunteer, then conscript army, and the same in the second. In the second as well, like Mark's like efficiency is more less more on the rifle now. It's obviously more towards the squad automatic weapon, which is obviously the Bren gun with the British, etc. So it goes to more towards that. But then again, proficiency with the rifle is still up as well. Even on late on the war, actually, they still try and keep up proficiency. Like you're at least decent enough with your personal weapon, your rifle or whatever you'd be using, but you're to be proficient in your personal rifle as well as this weapon. As like you must be proficient in your rifle as well as proficient in your Bren gun, because if that man goes down, you need to take their place. Because like especially in a mechanized war where volume of fire is sometimes the winner or loser of an engagement, that weapon needs to be operational all the time. So it's in everyone's interest to know what to do, know how that thing works. Especially with certain units, especially like with say within the paras and or commander units as well, proficient in weapons of your enemy as well. Especially if you're in a situation where you are not going to be supplied for a certain amount of time, you need to know how that weapon works. The Americans did this as well with their paratroopers to know how enemy weapons work, if in any case, if how to use them. So, but yeah, no, it's the way it's all structured is very very well, especially with the way of the Second World War, how the British Army adapts in the 30s to then evolve around the Bren gun and how that works, and how each man in that section is a support for the Bren gun and will supply that that team with the ammunition if need be, or take over in case of need be as well. So yeah.
Yeah, good topic. That's good. That's part of something that I love, and then stuff.
You know, that's always what was drawn me to the whole thing. Getting into the whole hobby a few years ago, I used to just do little events with like a couple of friends I knew, and then got invited to a group, and it's just gone from there. And then since then, I was doing World War II. Then I was asked if I wanted to do some Cold War stuff, which I had loads of kit for, and I've always wanted to do. So then I've gone into the Cold War stuff, and then there's more money at my account. And then, then I've been more interested in doing First World War stuff. So I've been getting bits of that recently as well, and some bits I've had for a few years. I've had some original First World War. I think the only First World War the only First World War original items I have, I believe, I did have some binoculars, but I gave them to a friend. I have a Mark One, Brody. Not Brody, sorry, a Mark One helmet. It's called a Brody, but the Brody is actually just the liner. Basically a Mark One. With a bit of the liner still intact, and also I have a pickle hub as well, which was a very little find. I was over there. So a Baden region, Germany, early war pickle hub. So with the brass stuff on it, so still, which is nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice little find for about £80 at a show about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's worth a lot more than that.
What?
Yeah.
£80?
Yeah, £80. Yeah, £80. Yeah. Let me just that actually.
That's insane. And
yeah, so that was a nice very little find. Yeah.
oh man.
So yeah, original. Obviously, the string for the liner's gone, but the liner itself is still there. The leather's still intact. Yeah, it was a nice little find. Whoops, there you go.
Really nice find. Really, man.
Let me just put the light on actually because it's quite dark in here.
So what? Say for like £400.
Yeah, they can go for a fair bit now. I'll have to double check again, but they're going up in value a lot now, and obviously the British ones as well, even so more. But it's like the original German style First World War Stahlhelms with the liner and everything still intact in very good condition are like £700 maybe more pounds now. Pickle halves similar depending on what they are. Prussian ones obviously go for more, but ones like Baden or Bavaria are still quite good to find as well. I think the Brandenburg as well did one. I think also it's all depending on the regions, but
Germany parts.
yeah, no, that's I think I had some binoculars. I think it was some First World War officers' binos which I gave away. Sadly, I kind of regret over it, but at the same time, I'm just like they're gone to a good home, so
That's good,
can't-
right?
but yeah, no, as I've said, like, my First World War stuff has been building up. I'm gonna be getting a new set of webbing, a new set of from Lawrence Ordnance from out of Australia, so they look quite good. And you can the options they have for the webbing they do is really good because there's a lot of different patterns which came in obviously after they introduced the '08 pattern webbing, so and obviously the latest style, etc. So that's really good, and a whole cost really. Oh, sorry, something just come up. What the hell is that? There we go. I think for shipping and everything else, it comes to about 224 quid for the webbing and shipping from Australia. So that's which I thought was really, really good. Like for a full webbing set to be shipped from Australia.
Okay, it's full webbing.
Yeah, full set.
Okay,
full set of webbing. Yeah, everything and shipping included is about 224 quid, which is insanely cheap considering everything else. Because you pay that maybe just for a set from Soldier of Fortune or whatever.
Yeah.
Depending on what set you go for.
Lately, I'm into the Lewis gun. I bought the blueprints for 3D printed Lewis gun, and I tried to build one, but it's an insane project to pull off.
Yeah, that's a lot of parts, especially with the printer. Because even like small bits can take 3 or 4 hours, can't they?
Yeah.
Depending on the printer. Jesus Christ.
That's
I don't envy you in that way. That to be done. Jesus Christ.
Another part that I'm searching of is like the map pouch for the Lewis gun.
Oh yeah. They're getting a bit rare to find, and yeah, I think I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if anyone does reproductions of those. I think Pegasus Militaria do a reproduction set. I'm not sure. They might do, and they might still have them. If not, there's a gentleman in Canada who might be able to make a set. I'll send him send you his details because he's currently converting a 49 pattern into a early battle dress surge for me at the moment. So. Which he doesn't make like some of the stuff he does is insanely good, really good. So I'm just waiting for that at the moment. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm waiting on at the moment. But there's more money. Like we've got our own place again now, so it's like money's tight at the moment. But at the same time, it's like I really need it though.
I really need it.
And it's this case my partner says the same thing as like my mum used to say. Like do you want do you need this? Like, yeah. I always say, I've been looking at it for a while. I haven't. I've literally just found out. I'm just like, I want it. I've got.
I can eat my 24-hour ration if you want.
Yeah. I'm trying to be more patient with some things. I have been with some things. I've been like patient on those. Like with the webbing, is that I could have got it like a couple of months ago, but I was just like I really need something else at the moment. So, but. I'm also trying to get stuff ready for the 40 Tower Trench event, which is in September. Hopefully that still goes ahead, which would be amazing. So so that would be really, really good. So we're doing Ox and Bucks light infantry, so which is going to be quite cool. So 1916, about late July. I think late July we're doing. I think
it's gonna be insane.
That's what period. So that's gonna be brilliant. So yeah, I'm just like, how much woolen stuff can I take so I don't freeze it? So that's gonna be good. But no, it's kind of thing. So they've managed to find a good supplier for I think B5 boots. I think, which is really, really good for about 90 quid for a pair, which isn't too bad. £90. What's that in euros? About 100
Oh yeah.
130 euro. So it's not.
Sorry.
So I'm just trying to think how like £90 in euros. So that's what about 130, 140 euro
I think.
price wise for us, which I think is not too bad.
I think it's about
And they're apparently one of the best reproductions out there for B5s they've found. So for £90, that's not bad.
not bad at all. And I got to buy another kit for me because I ripped mine. I ripped the front part of mine.
God.
So yeah, that's quite expensive.
What, did it rip while you were using it, or?
I was using it on a reenactment, and when I was climbing a trench, I ripped on the ladder of my kit. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I
Christ.
got
Yeah.
so I have to buy another Gordon and under kit
Yeah.
with the yellow stripes in every
Mm.
pence of the
Oh yeah, shit. How much was it? The cheaper kit or kit, or was it more of sort of like more?
I paid
Yeah.
520 quid for it. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is there isn't like an association in Scotland that they regards they I don't know how to put it. They take the marks for the pattern of the kid. So cheap reproduction they
Mm.
don't come out anymore. So
Yeah. Oh Christ. Yeah. That's so pricey. I know because I've obviously been looking at the kilts and that as well, like just general Scottish kind of thing, and I was like, yeah, like proper kilts are too expensive. So I'm just looking like where can I get a decent one which isn't like
yeah,
gonna cover the earth. So that's been interesting.
that's quite an investment.
Honestly, they're so expensive. But honestly, the one I had, like I've worn around a bit, I've never been so comfortable.
Yeah,
They're so comfortable.
yeah, great. Without any pants, you are the king, man.
I've like, worn it around the house. I'm just like this is like so comfortable. Because I've got something protecting me when I sit down, but I'm just like, it's like I've never been so comfortable in my life. I've never worn a kilt before that, and I was like, this is great.
And this time, I put it on one, and I felt a little bit of breeze inside my growing terror, and they went like, oh yeah. No, I know why. They wear it all the time.
Yeah, it's like it must be like great to wear in like the summer, or like mild like weather. But I'm just thinking at the same time I'm thinking, in winter this must be horrendous. because I know there was a problem with, especially in the First World War, trenches like obviously when they get wet they'll freeze.
Yeah.
So yeah, which causes a lot of problem and a lot of injury in that. That's sort of why they were sort of gotten rid of in combat situation by the Second World War.
Yeah.
Obviously, Guy Scottish regiments and even Canadian Scottish regiments went to France in 1940, wearing
I know
kilts
during
quickly.
during the Dieppe raid, the Scottish regiment wear kilts.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very very rare to see, and you'll see sometimes, and where like you'll see sometimes pipers in Scottish regiments in North Africa will still keep them on. Generally, a case of you normally see the piper still wearing a kilt in combat. So, but regiment wide, it generally was like, no, we don't want more injury necessarily. Oh god, I don't know, but they're great. They're great bits of kit, and they really make an impression, especially for Scottish regiment. Obviously, some of them, some Scottish regiments generally never wore kilts. They normally wore trews. So obviously, by the time normal service trousers and that they were wearing those. But yeah, no, it's a great bit to get in, and I'm really looking forward to getting more into sort of doing the First World War stuff. So building on that. But I'm trying to sort of nail down just standard infantry at the moment, get that all sorted. So yeah, so I'm just like, oh god, this is gonna be so expensive. but very rewarding at the end of
Enjoy
the day.
yourself. Embrace yourself for.
Yeah, just like World War II is expensive enough, and getting into Cold War, Jesus, that's expensive enough as well. And then you add on, I've been doing like Malaya stuff and Borneo and Jesus Christ, like Malaya's not too bad. Finding original like bush jackets which aren't tailored officers ones is getting a bit more tricky now, and getting quite expensive because the first one I bought cost me about 70 quid. So that's getting. It's a bush jacket, but it's basically like an AirTech shirt kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's
I never
sorry?
saw one. I never saw one.
Yeah, they're quite good bits of kit. If you see like guys in the jungle and like later parts of World War Two or in Malaya or Borneo, what they're wearing is a bush jacket basically. But normally you'll see guys who tuck it in.
Okay.
They can't wear it like a shirt, and it's an AirTech material, so it breathes a lot more. They're great bits of kit. So original ones of those, for standard NCO, standard squaddy and like private or NCO or whatever, becoming a bit more difficult to find. So the ones you normally find are officers' ones. So they'll either be tailored for an officer, or they'll be like starched, so like for parade use, etc. So they're the most common ones, and so are about 40 quid depending on how it's thinged up. So my one I bought, which has Lance Corporal insignia on it, cost me about £70 from War and Peace show about a year or two ago. And then I got another one recently with Corporal insignia on it, actually, quite a nice one. And I think it was a slightly earlier one as well, which was, I think, about 40 quid actually. So it was actually quite a good find. Off a site called, I can't remember if it was World War Wonders or Britain at War. So yeah, I found some good stuff on there, and prices aren't too bad, especially at World War Wonders actually. If you look at his website, he's got some very good stuff, some nice First World War stuff as well, and not too bad price.
You know, have you ever seen a video from British muzzleloaders?
Sorry?
From British muzzleloaders.
Oh yeah. Robert. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's great. He commented on mine and Kevin, who I've done a few videos with. He commented on those videos which we did the Civius de Monte's Men thing. So he's been interested in that. So that's been really good. And yeah, no, I love his stuff. He's done some great stuff.
Yeah, I love his videos. It's quite the character. I love it.
No, I love it's great because obviously he combines using the kit with live firing, and that obviously in Canada it's got a bit more room to go with there. Obviously not so much as say if he's compared to if he was in the United States, but even so it's like the area he's got to uses that kit in is great. And obviously he does stuff from the Napoleonic Wars all the way up to 1945 basically. Yeah. It's great. It's absolutely great. And obviously he does like stuff like in Italy, like he's done like kit like run throughs like even like in Italy and that, which is really cool. So yeah, he's definitely history goes with it.
Even the ducks during the attacks and
yeah, definitely, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And he's been doing like his sort of battle series, like he did Rorke's Drift, and then he was doing Inkerman, and from the Crimean War, and it's great watching. It's definitely a channel worth getting into. But yeah, definitely suggest though.
Yeah.
Vickers Machine Gun Association channel, because they've got some great stuff, and obviously we're doing the rangefinder training things on there, and I'm trying to think who else. I have a few others, but yeah, there's definitely worth
more, maybe.
Oh yeah, obviously Ruff and Moore, yeah. Simon's been great help to me, and also I've met him a few times, and he's doing the 48-hour trench event, which is great. Oh. He put in his deposit in that for a week or two ago, so he's doing that, which is great. And he's done a good video. He put out a video today actually. Someone sent him a parcel with a bunch of stuff in, which is kind of cool. Like 1980s, 1990s British Cold War stuff, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's this whole last year has been very crazy. So there's been a lot of time. I've spent too much time going through in like web pages looking for stuff to buy. Even when I haven't got money, I'm just like I put in a bid in, even though I've got no money.
Yeah, me
I was
too,
like,
man. Me
this
too.
is not healthy. It's crazy. It's not healthy at all because like I'll be going through like eBay or Facebook Marketplace or any other website.
Yeah, maybe like scrolling through eBay, like, uh, original cigarette case.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
need it, but I know. I quit. I can put it in the bin, you know?
It's crazy. I'm just like, I put that on watch, and then like half the stuff I never, or most of the stuff I never buy. One because I don't have the money or wouldn't have been able to afford it anyway. But I'm just like, I'll put it on watch anyway for some reason because I would like it. It's like I don't know. I sort of like torture myself with something that I can't have.
I
It's
know,
just
man.
it's
I
like
know
a
the
form,
struggle.
it's like a horrible form of self-harm but with kit. It's crazy. But yeah, the amount I've spent a lot more time though in the past year or so looking into stuff more, looking into the small stuff, especially with getting stuff ready for Monty's Men trip. Looking into small kit a lot more. I've like for years I've been wanting to try and pick up bits of small kit here and there, but never properly got into it properly. It was always very broad, like my kit, and was never like very detailed, which kind of irritated me. And this past year or so, I've been able to do that more. A lot of it's still reproduction, but it's filling in those spaces where it was always empty, like the pocket fillers, the pack fillers,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
Things that really make an impression and really make it true to itself and make it worth it and make you feel when you're carrying it, you're not just carrying like just random crap and
Random
all
bits of
some
kit.
bank for me. You're carrying their kit. You're making it all what you. It's well worth it basically. Yeah,
I still buy a pack of Woodbine
yeah.
cigarettes, and I smoke one, and man, those are the bastards. It's
Yeah. No, it's like
because
I've been off and on when I've sort of smoked and that, but when I started, I was getting like cigars like, about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was buying like Hamlets, and they're dreadful.
Yeah.
No matter what the Hamlet advert tells you, they seem dreadful. I ended up buying like a full sort of size, like I can't remember the brand of cigar, like a larger style, and that was really good. But yeah, Hamlets, yeah. And then, but generally, I generally smoke like straights and that. So that was generally what I used, and especially with impression and with reenacting, it really finalized it because obviously, generally back then, like even the 80s and that, like majority of British soldiers smoked. Majority of them. There's very few that didn't. Like it was generally a thing that was done, especially up until the 1950s. It was a
common thing
it
to see on
wasn't
the
really thing like saying bad by doctors and that. Like especially a lot of doctors still encouraged it. So and like advert like it was still tobacco adverts and that etc. So smoking generally. I've also sort of getting into pipe smoking now. So
Yeah,
it's like,
me too.
do I have the patience for that though?
And for for my pipe, I built myself a little, I don't know, pouch for it.
Yeah.
And wait a moment. Okay.
You know.
Obviously, it's not accurate by any
Ah.
means, but you know,
Oh, that's
just
cool.
built. And it's a straight pipe, not a cut one.
Mm.
This is the pipe I use for reenacting. That's the tobacco pouch, and that's the
Yeah.
pouch.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's mine.
Oh, that's nice.
An original one. It's a 43 British pipe.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
Oh, that's really, really nice. Yeah, I've been thinking I want to get sort of some more better accoutrements. I have a pipe, but it's like a cheap thing. I want to get like something a bit more substantial and a bit more authentic, and that I could probably use to just make the whole, especially for the first raw stuff. It would look brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's stuff's coming along. So and obviously with me, I've moved. Obviously, I've moved recently, so a new place. Luckily, we've got a cellar we can use, so stuff's going down there. It's just a case of balancing space with because it's cold, damp. So
Okay.
it's trying to deal with that at the moment, because we've got a cellar, we've got to try and keep it dry. Got the cupboards, but because they're built-in cupboards and they're directly to the outer wall, it's trying to make sure that nothing gets wet in there.
Yeah.
So I've got loads of dehumidifiers everywhere, just trying to keep stuff dry. So but yeah, picked up a few more things. I've still got a couple more things I've got to pick up from where we were before. I'm just trying to get it sorted. So the wardrobe is packed out. I've got stuff next to me here. I've really got to unfix that bayonet. So I've got those there. I've got a reproduction pair from What Price Glory Europe, or technically taken on what was Panther Store in Czech Republic. I've got a pair of the austerity pattern battle dress trousers from them. Annoyingly, it tore from one of the back buttons, attached to the back of the battle dress.
Yeah.
So it tore. I think you just about see it. See there from where the line is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the button was here, it tore and pulled up the whole of the fabric up and back as well. I should actually probably see it on the back better. Yeah, from there.
Wait, Oscar.
Yeah. So I was trying to get someone looking at someone to repair it, because I thought they cost me quite a bit of money. It cost me 160 quid. Well, actually, I got them from a friend called Steve Davies, who has his own shop called Reenactment Supplies. Definitely worth a looking, because he does a lot of First World War stuff as well. I think some of his stock comes from What Plus Glory America, but he did, obviously, What Plus Glory Europe have been a bit thingy with, obviously, post-Brexit, so it's been a bit of, with shipping in that to the UK, it's a bit of a sketchy thing at the moment. So unluckily, sadly, his stocks of the BD stuff has stopped now, but he's got a lot of other stuff on there, definitely worth it. I'll send you a link to his page, actually. But yeah, no, the trousers are brilliant. Honestly, I had a pair of originals which I sold because they would never fit me in a million years, because I'm not a skinny bastard anymore, and they were skinny bastard size. So I sold them. I had these before I sold them, and they match up really, really well, and they're definitely worth it. So yeah, it was through his company Reenactment Supplies, but through to What Price Glory Europe, who, if anyone who's never used What Price Glory or What Price Glory Europe, What Price Glory America is very different to the Europe one. Europe has now taken on what used to be Panther Store, which probably made, and obviously now with What Price Glory Europe, makes the best reproduction BDs out there. And they do denims as well, and they do the collarless shirts. I've got one of the collarless shirts actually, which is really good as well.
They use the original fabric for the collarless.
Yeah, they've got a lot of original fabric. The funny thing is with the shirt was, so it was, I went through of placing an order for one of the collarless shirts from What British Glory Europe, and the I'm trying to think. I went to the thing and was going to pay for it, and I thought, it's a lot of money. I'll have a look at the scene, get an original. I did eventually find an original one actually, but I never went through the whole process. I never even ordered it really. But about 2 weeks later, I got one in the post because they'd sent it to me even though I hadn't paid for it. So hopefully they're not watching. But yeah. So that was kind of thing, and I was like, well, I never think to pay for it, but I couldn't. Let's just say I did pay for it.
Yeah, you definitely pay for it. Not Glory.
I said, at the end of the day, not my fault. They should have checked. But yeah, no, they're honestly they're great bits of kit, and well worth looking into them. Obviously, there's a lot of delay at the moment, and it all depends if with shipping and that. But good thing Monty's men are doing. They've got a couple of obviously guys who live in the Netherlands, who are obviously coming to the event. Who if anyone places the order, get it delivered to their address, and then they can then ship it out to whoever. Obviously to make it cheaper.
That's brilliant.
Make it cheaper, and obviously get through all the red tape that WordPress for Europe are trying to do at the moment. So, which is a bit annoying. But aside that, the stuff they're producing at the moment is spot on and identical what Panther were producing however many years ago. So it's great and definitely worth it. But
Brilliant.
it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So if you're willing to pay £160 or £200 for a battle dress, there's a few.
Oh.
But it's a lot of money. But then again, original battle dresses are around that price anyway. And like then again though,
you end up
this battle dress, which obviously is original, cost me £120, and it's in basically mint condition. The austerity pattern ones, obviously with the exposed buttons in that, are a lot cheaper than say the earlier ones, obviously, because there was a lot more of them made. But even the if you can find an early battle dress, if it's like the 40 pattern, before the austerity one, and the battle dress surge without any insignia on it, generally they can be around the 200 to 300 mark, depending. But for what you're getting, it's really good. You find a lot of like Australian and New Zealand ones out there though, which would be really really useful, especially for
and they got the right colour.
Yeah, so they're a bit more darker, but they're perfect for it's the Italian campaign, because there was a lot of mishmash of battle dress, and my friend Kevin, I've done a few videos with, obviously his grandfather fought in the Italian campaign, and from pictures of him, there's difference of colour between his battle dress and his trousers, etc. And it's very very similar along with a lot of the units. When they went away from using the KDs and more into wearing battle dress in the theatre, when they went more up north, you see a lot of different in colour, because like you're getting stocks of like stuff from Australia and New Zealand. So because a lot of the Australian units like were out in obviously the Far East and not needed battle dress, but it was still being made there. So like I think sadly there was on Britain at War website, military dealer. It was really a shame because I was going through his pages. Sadly, it had been sold, but it was a Hampshire regiment battle dress, but it was New Zealand made, but in the sort of same colours as the British made ones. But it was the older style, but it was a more earlier style Hampshire regiment one with the black on the gold on black shoulder titles, etc. And it was a lovely piece of kit, absolutely lovely piece of kit. I just wish it was still there and I bought it, but sadly not. But yeah, no, yeah, I think definitely if you do like the Italian campaign, looking to say the New Zealand or Australian stuff, because it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
and it's definitely worth it. And that sort of mishmash, it makes it look more authentic. I'd say
for reenactors, the Italian campaign is like a nightmare because it's like a bit mishmash of kits from all the mixed together.
Yeah, it's crazy because you've got guys coming from North Africa, guys coming from
Canada,
Australia, New Zealand, and then they're coming from the North African campaign. Guys are being shipped over from Malta, or coming straight from the UK. Or from Gibraltar, where everyone's wearing different kit. They're wearing either KDs, they're wearing the KD shorts, they're either wearing KD trousers, they're wearing battle dress with KD, or other way around. And it's a crazy. Or they're wearing like KD bush jackets. It's like what's going on?
Yeah, I didn't say in the same platoon, like three dudes, one with the gaiters and two with the puttees. Like
exactly. The puttees, gaiters, etc. Yeah, it's a whole mishmash. And then you get into the whole argument of Blanco, like what we've discussed before.
Yeah.
It's like it was either sunburn, like the close to the original khaki color which they originally made in, sometimes used because obviously there's no point blancoing it like green when you're in the desert, like in North Africa, and then being obviously transported to Italy, and in southern Italy where it's kind of green but arid as well, isn't it? Because it's that Mediterranean kind of feel.
Green.
It is.
Like,
So the blanket thing. It's later on in the war. Obviously, you got guys who maybe being, probably been in the UK, who probably had their stuff blancoed maybe for Northern Europe, but maybe gone to Italy. So it's a mismatch. It's like in Europe actually. There's this whole thing. Oh, must be KG3, must be or whatever it is. But not all units were like that. You see units with it out blancoed. You see units with the early style blanco. It depends on unit. It depends what they were told by the battalion, and or if they blancoed it and it's just worn off and it looks a completely different color. So it's really really difficult to find out because they like companies never really kept track of this stuff. They never kept track. Oh, what colour's the webbing this week? Like they didn't write that down because why would they?
I mean, you can find some like veterans recollection on things, but not in the company records.
Yeah, because I think most guys back then didn't think that 80 or whatever years later there'd be 20-year-olds running around in their kit trying to figure out what colour was their webbing this week. So which I get completely. It's like they wouldn't really like obviously keeping battalion diaries like what they were doing, like we're cleaning kit this day, but they wouldn't say, oh, we're cleaning kit in this colour. No. So it's it's a confusing thing. It's crazy. Like obviously with Monty's men they're trying to get a sort of uniformity kind of thing, which I understand. It can be a bit like okay, like the nitpickery of this is going a bit over the top, but then again, I understand what they're trying to go for. They're trying to go for the authenticity thing. I'm like, okay, fair enough. We're all with the same company, so. But yeah, it's crazy. Like shoulder titles, for example. That's another thing. Especially with the Hampshire Regiment, it's like you've got different ones in Italy. You've got them not wearing shoulder titles, but they're wearing shoulder flashes to denote the battalion or the regiment or whatever. And then you've got there's footage of I think guys in Italy. It's either in North Africa, it might be Libya, or it's in Italy, of the Hampshires doing honour guard for medals being awarded. They've all got on the gold on black shoulder titles, the Hampshire Regiment. So like the ones I've got up there, sort of the top, sort of see it, kind of see it.
Yeah.
Them sort of ones, and then. Trying to figure out like what they had on like in Normandy, what they had on D-Day when they landed. It's a completely different thing because they would have had those because the gold on black were unofficial basically. They were basically just given thing by the battalion.
It was prominent in the Italian campaign. They got on black flashes.
Yeah, so you see them. I think you see them in Italy. You see them. In England on training, and before they go out, there was an order to them to be replaced with the official white on red single just Hampshire shoulder titles, which they were wearing on D-Day, and then some of them went back to using the gold on black when they returned home, because you see them wearing them when they're on parade, when they're going through Winchester. And order shot, they've got those on, it's confusing. But I know for a fact that it was an order that went out. They must go to the official white on red before Normandy. So I think that was like early 44 or very very late 43. That order came out. So if I go up here actually, because you can see like some of the different ones I've got and the different ones they are. So I've got sort of the Normandy setup from the top with the obviously shoulder title, the divisional flash of the Tynes and T's 50th Division, and obviously the unit, what's it called? Arms of Service Stripe, sorry, which is basically the position in the brigade, and they were the third. They were the junior battalion in the brigade,
Yeah.
231 Brigade, and obviously there's the gold and then just a couple of others. So yeah, it's confusing when it gets to it, when you're trying to go through it, and then obviously in Italy, some of them, and in North Africa as well, like 2nd Battalion to Borba, had like a black and yellow shoulder flash to denote the regiment.
And they got the 3 flash even.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. It's like trying to find originals of that or trying to find reproductions is crazy. So you have to like make your own sometimes. So it's confusing and it is difficult. So because I've slipped up so many times with that, because I always assumed that the gold with black was worn on D-Day, and then they would only had like one arms and service stripe, but I was completely wrong. So I was like, okay, get back again, more money, more sewing. so yeah, I was quite lucky with that though. I was quite lucky with that recently, that the sewing went fairly straightforward. But yeah, having to keep going.
I'm garbage at sewing. I'm very garbage.
Mm.
I can't pull it off. I always poke my thumb with the needle and they get mad at me.
Yeah. Honestly, like the amount of times I've drawn blood just trying to sew something, I'm like, what am I doing to myself? especially sewing stuff like you need to get like lined up perfectly when it look neat. Like I was quite lucky actually. There was a it was on Facebook actually, Facebook Marketplace. He was selling a couple like reels of thread, 1955 dated, like the khaki thread. So I thought for like £4 for like 4 rolls. Some of it is here, I think. Give me a second. I'll just grab this one. I'll just grab my housewife. Where is it? There you go. Yeah, some of that. Oops. Where's the camera?
I can see it.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, go try.
Yeah, so it's because it obviously it's a slight bit lighter on the obviously because we've got the red in that as well, but in general it matches up really really well with the surge. So for doing anything like that, so it's definitely worth it. Yeah, 1955 cord linen. Yeah, the linen threads for like £4 for like 4 of them. So I thought that was a bargain for those. Obviously, thread's thread, but it's better to get sort of like older stuff so you can get a good match on the kit. So, and it makes it look a bit more authentic in the way. Also, I'll try and I've got to get the for that video. I've got to get the shoulder titles. So I'm looking to the black on blue power ones possibly, or I might look into maybe doing Royal Engineers. I'm not too sure.
I've got a question about the Torah stuff. I don't reckon if the 7 Cups was paraglided or parachute into Arnhem. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they were part of the. I think they were part of the Air Landing Brigade. Yeah, they were the Air Landing Brigade. Yeah, so they would have been gliders. Yeah, because they were added to the Air Landing Brigade, the first Air Landing Brigade, in '43, I think, as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
In fact, I was going to sort the broad wings on my smoke, and
yeah.
Then I recollect myself, and I was wrong because I was thinking there was paragliding and not parachuting, so I was wrong, and I took off the para wings for my smokes.
Yeah. So they were part of the LM Brigade. I think 43 they were added, and then Oxen Bucks like infantry obviously beforehand. Obviously, there was I think two companies. I think 2 companies or 2 squadrons, whatever it was, of the Royal Engineers were part of the LM Brigade, and then the other one, or troops or whatever they were, I can't remember how they were called. One was part of the parachute regiment, so 2 would come by glider, and 1 would jump with the paras. So there was with the supporting arms like the Service Corps, Royal Engineers, REME, and that they were separated between the paratroopers and the glider and the air landing brigade. So because the air landing brigade expanded post D-Day, 43 expanded, and then I think some more units were added post D-Day. Obviously, when they created the First Airborne Army, obviously it all got bigger, and then obviously First Airborne was all combined with First Air Landing, and then you had and then you had the Polish Parachute Brigade with that as well.
Yeah.
So seventh Air Landing. So I think I don't know if she's selling stuff at the moment, but if you look at it's called Div Patch or Divvy Patch, I can't remember. Lady in the UK, she all makes insignia, which is really, really good as far as I'm aware. Obviously there's Old Time Design Company, which make really, really good insignia, but I found her stuff quite good as well. Actually, a lot of her stuff I've got from her over the years has all been really, really good.
You know, Old Time Design ever got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. The stuff is great. It's a bit pricey though. I found sometimes, especially for if you want to buy about the parachute regiment set. So you have the shoulder titles, the wings, obviously the one arm, the patches, and then the airborne things. It's like I think for the whole set is about £38. So for
a little bit pricey.
Yeah. For she does so for a set of shoulder titles. I think it's about £6.60, I think.
Really?
For just a set of the shoulder titles itself. So for a set of
I'll look into that.
Oh shit! I just dumped it all on the bed. Quick question: where did you get your Kings of the Scottish Borderers Titan flashes from?
eBay.
Oh, you got them from eBay as well. I think probably the same bloke as me then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
was a pain in the arse trying to get that on the Tama Shanna. That was
Ian. The name of the vendor was Ian Kelly.
I think that was the same guy as me. Yeah, because he has like a bunch of original.
Seconds. There we go. I've got my
Oh, nice. Oh no, it looks brilliant. Where did you get the backing for it?
On all the blues that I've got, it was irreparable, and I cut off the pieces, and
Okay.
I
That's yeah. I might have to see if there's anyone around who has like spare fabric or whatever. Because I want to do sort of similar for some of my stuff as well. So I can then just have sets ready to go, and then just put them on when I need.
It's difficult to find this kind of fabric, and in fact,
stuff that matches as well.
Yeah.
I think if I can find it in this mess of stuff. They're a nice little thing. These are original ones. These are were my great grandfather's ones. He was a WO too. Well, and then one WO1 at one time. Yeah, nice little bits. Because he was Royal Engineers during the war, and then was in Germany afterwards for a while, and then helped.
Have you ever do your Godfather kit?
Sorry?
Have you ever taught to do your Godfather kit?
Tried to I've found out little bits here and there. It's a bit tricky. There's not a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff is obviously my great grandfather's was him. My grandfather and my grandmother passed away a couple of years ago, so it's a bit tricky to find that stuff. My dad knows a bit. He has a few pictures, etc., from when he was in Germany after the war, where he was a sergeant major in the Royal Engineers, and he did work at Longmoor Camp after the war as well. But during the war, he I've got his medals. I've got his medals actually in box at back. But I know he was there when they liberated Belsen concentration camp. So that must have been horrendous. I think one of the things he said to he mentioned, well, I was told that he mentioned, was that you could smell it from well over a mile away. You could smell it before you got there, which is just is insane.
That's bloody atrocious.
Yeah. So apart from that, though, I don't really know much. I know so through sort of the France and Germany campaign, but I'm not sure exactly what else. Obviously, you've been in the army before the war, so in sort of a career soldier. Obviously, that showed from after the war as well. But no, I don't know a great deal really, which is a shame. I tried looking into a bit more, but it's difficult. But I've got the medals to go off, and one of them has his service number on, so I can go off that. So there's a bit more I can go off. So let's just try to find that now these days. It's a bit more difficult. Yeah. So as I was saying about Divi Patch, about the shop titles, obviously, yeah, this is one of the Hampshire ones, but this is one of them from Divi Patch. So for a pair of these, she sells them in singles, but for a pair of them, it's about £6.65, I think.
That's very
and then for like the airborne patches as well. Actually, I think I put them in the drawer. No idea. Yes, the same, but yeah, for the flash is around about the same price as well for a pair. And then she does a lot of other insignia. So for British infantry, she does arms of service stripes, and a lot of other stuff too. I think, yeah.
Great to go.
Arms of service stripes. These are a couple of hers as well. These are about £2 something, I think. I'm not too sure. Obviously, she makes them all by hand and so yeah, they're really, really good. Some people have had questions about them, but I think they're quite good for what they are, especially for like the embroidered ones, for the fabric ones, rather than say the printed ones, or even woven as well. So yeah, these are a couple of hers as well. The commando flashes.
They're all embroidered.
Yes, that one's all embroidered in that.
It's quite nice.
Yeah, I got this one about 2016. I think it was 2016 or before that, 2015 might have been. But honestly, the stuff she does is great, really, really good, and not bad price either. And then she started doing a few more modern things recently. So during the Cold War, and that there was something called the Berlin Brigade, and the British had the Berlin Brigade, and the Americans had their own as well. And this was the flash for the Berlin Brigade. We just probably see actually just a minute. So yeah, that was the flash of the Berlin Brigade. So red circle on the black background with Berlin in red on the top. And then so finding originals of these is really difficult. So these are originals, and then I've got an earlier one as well, which is just the disc. Now these are getting harder to find, and she in the past couple of months or so now, or year or so, she started doing reproductions of those, which is great. Just say if you want to do British Army in Germany or Berlin, for example, in say the 60s or 70s or whatever, these are great for that. So that's really good. But yeah, she does a wide range of stuff. She does armbands as well. So if you want to do if you want to do the powers of Operation Varsity, they got the UK armband flashes for that as well. She does, which is really great. So definitely worth giving a look in. There's a notification on the website that she won't be back until October, but I think that might have been left from there from last year, so I'm not too sure. I'll have to have a look into that, but yeah, definitely worth having a look for like insignia wise, especially for affordability and actually good quality ones as well. I think they're perfect.
I will look to it.
All right. So I'm trying to tidy up because now it's a mess. Just fuck it over there. Sorry. Yeah. A couple of original ones actually though. I've got I can't remember where I found these actually, but these are both originals. So just the corporate ones on like this sort of on the fabric background, sort of been put on. But yeah. I don't know. I never know where they came from, and these as well. earlier style large ones, especially compared to like say like the later style ones. The size difference is ridiculous because these are like say 70s, 80s, and this is obviously wartime. But yeah, but no, it's going to be a pain in the ass. What is the size you have to put down your shoulder flashes to? So for the King's and Scottish Borders, was it about 2 inches or was it about an inch? I can't remember.
2.5 inches, I reckon.
Yeah.
That you get to
Okay. Yeah.
the finger of the shoulder pad, and
Yeah.
go from there. You put your flash, and then after you put the flash, you got to put another 2 fingers,
Yeah.
and then the Arbon Brigade flash. So
Oh, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, because for the TAM, I think you have to. I think it's about 3 by 3 inches. I think as far as I remember. What I did forget to do though, after sewing it all on, putting the cat badge on, I'm thinking, oh, that looks brilliant. I forgot to put the backing on the flash itself,
oh man.
so it's not as rigid. So I'm just like, I'm not going through it again. It's fine how it is. I personally think it looks really, really good. I'll go grab it actually. I personally think it looks really good. Oh, so yeah, I personally think it looks really good. Get the light on it again. Personally, I think how it came out.
It's good.
Yeah, it was a bit tricky trying to get it to line up perfectly, obviously. So, but the cap itself actually, gentlemen in America, in the States, made this one for me and my friend Kevin as well. So it cost £80 each for one to be made, but they're like really, really well done. Basically, perfect to like the wartime ones. So if you just look inside, I think probably just see probably there you go.
The stamp.
Yeah,
It-
really, really nicely done.
Explanation, yeah. It's like an original one.
Yeah. You like I think if this was a bit old, this was aged a bit, you would think it was an original.
Yeah.
Like original like wartime stamps and that inside. Like, really, really well done. Another
Oh.
thing is I gave him my head size, but I think I might have my head size wrong because it is a slight bit too big. So I'm just like it's slightly bit. It's a little big Yeah.
for you.
Just a tad. So might have to sort of pin it maybe a bit.
If you go to socket, maybe it
Yeah,
should a little bit.
Yeah, I might give that a go. Yeah, I might do that, or I can try and pin it at the back underneath. I could probably put like a safety pin behind the bow itself. So, but yeah, honestly, it's a lovely, lovely piece, and but that came really well. Yeah, I might give you it as well if you ever want to look into say, obviously, one of the sort because obviously he does First World War and Second World War TAMs, as well as I think he does GS bearers as well.
Well, I got 2 times. Obviously the golden one and the argyle one.
Oh,
In my group, we call it the Scottish pizzas because they like that big.
Yeah, because the Great War ones are really large, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a lot of great fun.
Yeah, but these ones are big enough. But yeah, like the ones of the Great War are like what about an inch or two larger, I think.
Yeah,
huge.
they're really huge. The officers ones, they're a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
The regular infantry ones, they are huge.
Yeah, it's crazy because like by the time of the like 1970s, you've got a lot smaller TAMs and that as well. So it's right. So getting told off by the other half. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's really it. Anything else at all, or
No, for me, we can wrap it up because for me it's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's. Oh, sorry, it looked like it was daylight outside. Oh, Christ, fair enough.
No,
It's half. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, it's 11:30 here. So, yeah. So if so that'll probably
Me-
that.
It's an hour plus from.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. I was gonna say because it looked like it was light outside. I was thinking, like, what time
No,
is it?
it's a
So,
lamp
so,
from
yeah.
IKEA. It's bright as fuck. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, you can see it's a lamp now. Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Right. No, that's fine then. Right. Cool. So that about probably it then. I'll
sorry
good
for my
chat with you, then, mate. Really
pronunciation, but
appreciate it.
improve
No,
it.
it's great to finally chat with you. So obviously been trying to do this for a while. So
I'm really looking
yes.
forward to you in real life, really. And my
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely if you're anytime you're able to come to the UK or whatever, or if say they do start letting people do maybe from Monty's Men next year, and maybe able to do that, that'd be great. Yeah,
we'll get nice and then.
yeah. You too, mate. You too. Right. See you later, buddy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed that. Again, apologies for maybe the length of the video. This is probably going to take a long time to upload. So I feel sorry for my internet. So yeah. Again, so I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, sorry for the sort of delayed nature of the videos. It's just a case of, again, I've been moving, so I've a lot stuff to do, as well as the internet was being probably things we've had problems with it over the past week, little teething problems. So uploading has been a bit difficult. Just having connection just to try and just do a bit of when I'm editing stuff. So I have to use the internet connection to. Yeah, exactly. It's been a bit of a struggle, but yeah. So really, really thankful for your patience, and I hope you enjoy the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.